At this point, I'm starting to wonder if we'd just be better off if nobody reported anything ever again. I mean, what's the point anymore? What's the point when it is all so wrong? I mean, when you've got MSNBS out there saying, hey, sorry, you guys got this story about Trump wrong. When you have MSNBS saying that, journalism is officially dead. We've got this anti-Trump Wall Street Journal reporter claiming that the White House had the name of John McCain on the USS John McCain covered with like a napkin or a tarp or something during the president's recent trip to Japan because Trump, he couldn't bear to see anything about John McCain on this trip. And would you be shocked? Would you be shocked if I told you that this story, like so many of the others in today's media are, which is that it is just completely fake? No, of course you wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't be listening to us if you trusted them. In a viral tweet, Ballhouse wrote that a tarp was hung over the ship's name ahead of the trip, and sailors who wear caps bearing the ship's name were given the day off for Trump's visit. Apparently, so Trump doesn't actually have to see them. This was reportedly because the White House wanted the USS John McCain out of sight. She then went on to claim in her report that after the tarp was taken down, a barge was moved closer to the ship, obscuring the ship's name, still so that Trump couldn't see it. And the thinking here is that the president, he couldn't bear to see the ship's name because he would be so triggered by the name John McCain that he would not be able to control his wrath. In fact, he might bomb it if he saw the name John McCain on it. Now, immediately, of course, this information was picked up by the media at large, and it was used to go on the attack against the Trump administration and Trump himself. And while Ballhouse, she may be an anti-Trump nut with a history of distorting the truth to attack Trump, we've seen it from her in the past, it started to get picked up by more people. And in fact, the official Wall Street Journal account repeated the story on Twitter. Quote, "The White House wanted the U.S. Navy to move out of sight," that's the big headline, out of sight, "a warship named for the late Senator John McCain before Trump's visit to Japan last week." So of course, they see that the media's all over this. Chris Hayes, he called it completely deranged. And of course, what would this be without Meghan McCain being one of the first to jump on it? She was outraged that Trump would order this. "Trump is a child who will always be deeply threatened by the greatness of my dad's incredible life. There is a lot of criticism of how much I speak about my dad, but 9 months since he passed, Trump won't let him rest in peace. So I have to stand up for him. It makes my grief unbearable." And the New York Times writer, and apparently from his profile, a tired minivan driver, Wajahat Ali, says sarcastically, "Totally not petty, vindictive, weak, cruel, or insecure. This is how a very principled, strong, confident, generous, and honorable man behaves, right? Especially when, faced with an inanimate object that bears the name of a deceased person who can't fight back." Again, dripping with sarcasm. Thing is, it turns out it's not true. Did Trump actually order this? Well, when asked about it, here's what the president said.
Yeah, I don't know what happened. I wasn't involved. I would not have done that. I was very angry with John McCain because he killed health care. I was not a big fan of John McCain in any way, shape, or form, but I would never do a thing like that. Now, somebody did it because they thought I didn't like him, okay? And they were well-meaning, I will say. I didn't know anything about it. I would never have done that.
And the New York Times, in fact, the New York Times confirms that account from the president. And they write, quote, "White House aides who spoke on the condition of anonymity because they were not permitted to speak publicly confirmed the request was made, but that Mr. Trump did not know about it." A few hours after the original report, the Navy chief of information, of all people, tweeted, quote, "The name of USS John S. McCain was not obscured during the President of the United States' visit to Yokosuka on Memorial Day. The Navy is proud of that ship, its crew, its namesake, and its heritage." So this notion out there that the ship it had a tarp covering its name just for the trip is absolutely false.